Peter, what's up, bro? We're on for another power up, man. Let's talk about it. We're here to get into the nitty gritty of the
Yeah.
stuff, right? This is the meat and potatoes behind the scenes. How do you
Mhm.
how do you get it done? What we got today, bro?
Well,
What you
we
feeling?
got some sun for sure. That's that's number one.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
we turn on the cameras. I haven't looked at myself, on webcam because it's a Tuesday today, so it's a new week, and I haven't had any. I normally have Zoom calls on Mondays and Tuesdays, but I haven't had any this week yet. And so this is the first time I saw myself, and I was like, man, I got some sun this weekend.
I was like, yeah,
Um,
you've been out and about it.
Yeah, and it's cool because I was thinking as I was out and about in the sun, I've been thinking a lot about kind of what we're doing and with bridge builders. And this is not currently, this is not our number one main full-time gig. I mean, this is a passion project for both of us. We both are investing a lot of our time and energy and effort in building the network and building, creating resources and networking and all of that. And so, the question comes up, and I think this is probably going to be a question that will be relevant to a lot of our entrepreneurs that are part of the network. A lot of you guys that maybe you have like a full time job that you're working right now, something that you're doing your 9 to 5 that's kind of paying the bills, but you've got something else that you're doing that's really what you're passionate about. And the question you're asking is like, when do I jump? When do I know the time is right for me to kind of push all my chips into the middle and say, I'm doing this full time? Like that's a big, scary world. I've been there a couple of times, and fortunately, there was a couple of times where it didn't work out well for me, but there's a few times where it did, and so I kind of I think I have an answer at least from my perspective. But Chauncey, you've got a lot on your plate. You got a lot of things going on, and I would love to hear your answer to that. Like, what do we do when we're like? How do we know when we're ready to jump all in?
Man. That's a good question. I think one of the first things we have to do is really uh, assess the things that we have going on. You said it. I have a lot going on, right? I got a few different things, but there's people who have a whole lot more going on than I do. It's a matter of evaluating the things that you're doing and the end goal. The 1% people, the people who really have freedom, they have time freedom. It's not a deal for money specifically or singularly. That's like a little bit down on a rung. But when you have freedom, like
Mhm.
legit freedom, where you can work 2 or 3 months and you're off 2 or 3 months, right? Or when you've got the systems built so well that the thing can function without you. So if with that trajectory of that being a target, where you got that freedom, that leisure to have the life experience that you really really crave and that you want, then you assess what are the things. Is this serving me in that direction, or is this an avenue, a resource, a vehicle to get me to these places? And so in my case, the things that I am giving myself to are things that I believe in. And I could do either one of these singularly, but collectively engaging in all of them really fuels me and helps me do my life mission. Now, I think the goal becomes then is how do you structure it so that you have that time freedom? Are you investing in someone else or investing in people or the processes or the business itself so that you have the liberty, the freedom, the luxury to then give yourself in other areas. Now, if you are in a situation where um, you are grinding it out because, or you thugging it out because there's something else you'd rather be doing,
Mhm.
you prepare, right? You plan
Yeah.
and you get it going, but at some point you got to burn the boats. You have to burn the boats and get it done. And there's nothing that you don't put energy on if you don't give it 110%. And the only way you lose is if you quit. That's
Yeah.
anything, right? As human beings, the only way we lose is if we quit. So if you put energy on anything long enough, then you'll get the W. It's like I always think about Family Matters. Steve
Mhm.
Urkel, and had the crush on his neighbor Laura, right? And it's like, you down here, Steve, but she's way here. But if you persistent, you'll get where you're going for. Any guy can get the girl, right? You can make that business successful. You can make that venture work. You can get the things done if you put enough energy on it. So then the question you ask now is timing. How do I know when it's time to make that switch? How do I know when it's time to do it? And if you are in a spot where, you're pulling this thing along because it's the security, right? The security blanket, like a little kid, or you're holding a little bear and you want the bigger one. At some point, you have to burn the boats, right? You prepare as much as you can, you plan as much as you can, but then you jump out there knowing that, I'm going to get where I'm going when I give this thing the energy that it deserves, right? I mean, sometimes there's bad timing or different things that happen where it may not be most ideal, but I think I read a statistic somewhere where, the average millionaire has been bankrupt, right? And so that means that, but now they're millionaires, right? So just because they had that hurdle, that setback, that doesn't mean that success is not around the corner, and so you can't be afraid of that. You prepare as much as you can. But one, I would say in timing, survey the things that you have. And it may be a matter of do all the things that you're doing, but now work towards the freedom and know when is the right time to bring on the right people or structure so that you have that 1% lifestyle that we're all really looking for, or if it's, hey, I need to reposition what life looks like as far as my work and my energy, then prepare. And at some point you got to go for broke, and so that's my posture when it comes to doing it. And I had that experience, right? Like leaving from the comforts and security of another firm, and then going into business with my contracting company for myself. It was a leap, and even though I had the knowledge, I didn't have the resources. I didn't have the infrastructure within my business, but I knew how to do this, and it was worth doing. And now here we are. I mean, it was some hard moments, but I knocked on that federal contracting door, and we're at a spot now where we're able to help other people do it. And then in this network, right? Like my goal is exactly that, is because I've had some successes in my business. I know that other people who need just a little bit of information or a little bit of community or a little bit of nudge or a little bit of accountability to then turn that same corner, and then within 318 Collective, I just believe in the social mission of what that is for society. And so now I'm at a spot where I'm taking a leap to get the right people partnered with all of the things so that then now I can continue to enjoy or pursue that 1% approach, and so timing is ultimately you have to value it based on your situation, but then you got to burn the boats, bro. You got to go for it, Yes, and sir.
That is like, I mean, that could not be a better answer. I mean, that because it comes from real experience, man. We've all been there at some point where we felt like, I know that this thing that I'm spending my time with day after day is really not what I want to be doing long term. And I mean, there's been times where, I burned some boats so that I could set off on doing something that I really thought I wanted to be doing. And then I started doing that. I did that with freight brokering, like I kind of took a leap from the cushy, comfortable salary, predictable, like I knew how much I was going to make every month. I knew I could pay my bills. I wasn't living like a king, but, I didn't have any complaints, to, working a 1099 fully commissioned position. And, I had some people around me that were kind of helping me along, showing me, giving me some pointers and helping me get some clients and things like that. So it gave me enough of a confidence in that decision to where I could say, yeah, I could do this and I'll be okay. And it took a couple of months to kind of get to my salary. But I realized after doing that for a while, that really was not what I was cut out to do. It really wasn't my calling. It just was kind of a stepping stone to, actually, I look at it as a stepping stone to help me realize this isn't my calling. This is, just really a step. Honestly, for me, it was a step into the mindset of working for myself. And I needed to have kind of that soft transition from being an employee to being self-employed. I had to go from that kind of that mental rhythm of of living up to my boss's expectations and literally doing what I was paid to do, to then realizing, you know what, I could sit on the couch all day and watch TV, or, mess around on Facebook or do whatever. And, and not get yelled at by my boss, except for my wife would probably get frustrated when we can't pay the bills. So I gotta get to work. I gotta go do something. So then that helped me transition my thinking into being self-employed, which then led to a pretty obvious and easy on ramp into me actually pursuing what I'm doing now. But it was scary. I mean, it was really scary to like not know, is this going to work? But I will say that when you burn your boats, if you still have a lifeline, like if you're going to burn your boats, you got to burn the boats, cut the lifelines. Like we're doing this all in. Like I'm not doing this with an escape hatch, in mind, because you're not going to bring 110% every single day. You're going to show up as much as you need to, but then when you hit that hurdle, you get to that resistance that's just enough resistance to say, yeah, maybe I'll stop and go try something else. Maybe I'll go get another job. Maybe I'll go, try. And, then if that's what you want to do, that's totally fine. You can go do that. But you can't look at that as a failure. You can't look at that as like, I failed at my thing, because maybe you didn't count the costs. Maybe you didn't like have everything lined up, or really like assess and really calculate, is this what I'm really called to do? Is this really what I want to be doing with my days and with my time? But again, I would say this is a segue into, this is why the Bridge Builder Network exists, is to resource you so that when you get to that point where you're like, maybe I should go get a job. Maybe I should just call it quits. This is too hard. I'm hitting hurdles or whatever. Chances are you don't have enough community around you. Chances are you don't have enough resource. You don't have other people in your corner that are pulling for you, that are, offering you their help and like, hey, let's link arms. Let's get some synergy going behind. And so that's why we're here. That's really why we started this, because we need it. We need
right.
We need that encouragement.
Yep, man. So look, you guys in the network, know the timing, evaluate the timing. It may be the right move. It may not be the right move. Evaluate the opportunity, and then once you're set on it, go for it. Go for broke. And when you run into the hurdles, just know that it's a learning curve and it's a point of transition, but it's helping you get to that ultimate place of freedom. Is why we do what we do in this part of life that they call work, right? It's a part of it. So, hey, thanks for tuning in on this Power Up, and we'll catch you on the next one. We're building bridges and changing lives.